Hey there! Long time no see. And I know if you are watching this on YouTube, you're like, what? She's doing an actual vlog. I know, can you believe it? I haven't done a vlog type video, I think, since maybe 2012 or 2013. I've had a lot of Google Hangouts and everything that I record and then post those on my channel, but I haven't done a face-to-face video, blog, vlog in a really long time. And if you're listening to this as a podcast on SoundCloud, you're probably like, what are you talking about? This is supposed to be a podcast. And it is, but just know that the video from this podcast that you're listening to actually comes from a vlog that I'm doing on YouTube. So if you're interested in actually seeing me, well, maybe not live in the flesh, but seeing me in the flesh, then definitely hop on over to youtube.com/thinkandgrowchick. So anyway, it doesn't matter. YouTube, vlog, what's important is the message. And the message, the reason why I wanted to come on here today and talk to you and share with you is because I wanted to talk about and help you stop being a victim of your circumstances. And I thought that this was very apropos. And I hope I'm saying that French term correctly. I always thought apropos was really cute, really fancy. But anyway, I hope it's fitting, we'll say. I think it's fitting because I'm in a situation where I could have considered myself a victim of circumstances. In fact, I noticed that I was slipping into this kind of bitter attitude and a space of feeling like a victim, sinking into victimhood because of where I am right now, and we'll get to that in a second. And I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I preach against this on my blog. I am the queen of taking responsibility for your life and making decisions and just doing what you have to do no matter what. So I was like, well, you know what? This would be a really good time for me to practice what I preach. So by now you're like, okay, that's cool, but what's going on? Okay, if you're watching me, you can see that I am in a hotel room. And if you're listening, just know that I am in a generic airport hotel room because randomly I got called on a last-minute business trip, so a last-minute work assignment, and it kind of came at an awkward time that wasn't so good, but it was only supposed to be for a few days. However, I've been trapped in this hotel in this city away from home for 8 days and counting, and it's really messing some stuff up. So, this is a minor thing to be bitter about, and I readily recognize that, but nevertheless, it's still a major imposition on some things that I had going on, especially for my side hustle, for my business building, all that stuff. So I found myself getting really upset and kind of feeling like a victim, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I have to be here, and they're not going to let me go home. When am I going to get to go home? I have all this stuff that I'm supposed to be doing, and I just felt like, I had no control over the situation, and I noticed that it was putting me in a funk where when I did get a chance to come home, because another thing that really stinks is we're actually working 12-hour days and we're working on the weekend. So y'all, I have been working like non-stop for hours and hours, literally come back to the hotel, kind of crash, maybe get something to eat, and then wake up early in the morning and do it all over again. But typically I like to pride myself on having a really good work ethic and being a bit of a warrior when it comes to getting the things done that I want to get done. So when I'm in my normal mental state, I will just get up early or try my hardest to stay up a little later to do the things that are important to me, like write blog posts and create content for you guys and all that stuff. But I noticed myself getting into this funk where for a few days I was just like, you know what, what's the point? It doesn't even matter. I'm just really upset about the situation because this was completely unexpected, and just mentally I just didn't feel like it. I just didn't feel like doing what I needed to do, so I would just kind of slump in the bed and just, be mad. So now I finally was like, this is not gonna work. We need to snap out of it. And I reminded myself of some principles that I always talk about to others when I find them feeling like a victim of their circumstances. And I woke up this morning and I was feeling much better. And in fact, me even making this vlog slash podcast slash blog post is an example of some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about in terms of how to stop being a victim of your circumstances. So yeah, I readily admit this is, mild as far as bad circumstances go, but I want this to inspire you no matter what your situation is. So maybe you've been working at a dead-end job for a really long time. Maybe your financial situation is a certain way, or your school situation, or you have to take care of others, or just whatever is going on that is making you feel like you're a victim and there's really nothing you can do to change your circumstance. Hopefully the tips that I'm going to share in this vlog slash podcast will help you break through that, as they helped even me break through my little funk just last night, okay? So it's real quick, real simple. It's only 3 things to keep in mind. So if you want to stop being a victim of your circumstance, the first thing you need to do is remember, you're an adult. You're a grown woman, or lately more men have been watching or my videos or listening to my podcast, so you're a grown man, you're a grown adult, you're a person, right? You're a grown person. And because you are grown, that means you make choices. So you always have a choice. I don't care what's going on or what the situation looks like, or you feel like you have to do things. Remember that you have a choice. And in fact, I've committed to recently, over the past few months, I've committed to stop even saying things like I have to do this, or they're making me do this, or I have to. Really, you don't have to do anything. And in the words of my dad, he always cracks me up when he says this. When me and my sister were young, and we'd be like, Dad, you have to take us to get ice cream after dinner. You said you were going to do this. You have to take us here. You got to take us to the toy store, da-da-da. He would always snap back and be like, look, I don't have to do anything but pay taxes, stay black, and die. So now I just die laughing when he says that because it's so ridiculous. But it's true. In the words of my father, I don't have to do anything but pay taxes, stay black, and die. So yes, I got called on this work assignment. Yes, I'm on this trip, etc., but I didn't have to come here. I didn't even have to work at the job that I do. I choose all of these things. So I choose to go to work because there are some benefits, obviously, namely a paycheck, and security and some other things that I want in my life as I set up my business and begin to build my own personal brand. So I don't have to do anything. It's a choice. And even within this particular work assignment, yes, they called me onto this and it was a major thing, but I didn't have to come if I really did not want to come. Now, granted, you might be like, well, if you didn't come, wouldn't you have gotten fired? And that's likely. Yes, I could have not come and even gotten fired, but that would have been a choice. So I chose not to do that, though. I chose to grin and bear it and accept the work assignment because I'm an adult and I'm weighing the pros and cons, and I decided as an adult woman that the choice of coming here and doing this, even in the midst of all the inconveniences, etc., was something that was more favorable to me and my current situation than choosing not to go and risking getting fired. No one takes my choice away from me. So it's really important to remind yourself of those things, and I have to remind myself of that. But watch your language and make sure that you are not saying things like, I have to do this, or they're making me. No one really can unless they're putting a gun to your head, no one makes you do anything. You don't have to do anything. You're a grown up. You are choosing to do what you are doing. And I think sometimes we fear taking responsibility, because if we say oh no, I made the choice and this choice is putting me in this situation that I don't like, then we think that accrues negatively to us and somehow we're at fault. But really that's not the case. You can choose to do something that is perhaps negative or isn't as fun or pleasant in the moment because you have a greater vision for the long term. And I always talk about that in general, that it's very important that you know what you want, you have a vision for your life, etc., because when you have moments like this and you're in a situation where you're like, what is going on? Why am I doing this? You know, oh, I can't believe they're making me. You can stop, pause, and say, no, no, no. No one's making me do anything. I'm choosing to be here or to accept this or whatever, even though it's unpleasant for now, because I have a longer term vision in mind. And if you really sit with yourself and you take the responsibility of you making that choice, and you genuinely do feel bad about yourself, or you feel less of a person, or you're like, you know, you feel a certain kind of way about you making the choice that you did. So it could be something like maybe you work a certain job, but you choose to accept bad treatment where, you know, your boss is like borderline cursing you out, or you have like negative coworkers and that kind of thing. If you just stand for a second and admit that you are choosing that treatment, and then you feel a certain kind of way about it, as you should, because it's like, who would choose that kind of treatment? Well, only once you acknowledge that you are making the choice to be in that situation can you think about a way to get out of it. You know, if you say, you know what, I've been accepting this treatment for this long, I made the choice to allow people to talk to me this kind of way, well then guess what? You can choose not to let that happen anymore. You can make a different decision because you're a grown-up, remember? You can make a different choice. You can start to strategize a different exit plan or a different game plan for your life. However, if you always play the victim and you say, oh, I have to be here, I have to be at this job, I have no choice but to let him talk to me that kind of way, because what else am I gonna do? You know, there's no other jobs, the economy is bad, etc., etc. Well, you've just totally blocked yourself in, and you've just removed all options from the table. So you see how it works? In the short term, not taking responsibility and saying, oh, others made me do it, it's their fault, you know, protects your ego in the short term, but it removes your options in the long term, because if you keep telling yourself, well, I don't have a choice, they're making me do this, you will never think, you know, consciously, you will never come up with different ideas or strategies to get out of your situation. However, if you are a grown-up and you take responsibility and you admit that you are making the choice for whatever it is that is going on in your life, yes, it stinks, it stings in the beginning, it hurts your ego, but once you get past that, then you say, well, you know what, if I made the choice to be here, I can make the choice to get out of here. And then you reclaim your power, and then you can do something about your situation. So that's number one. Never forget that you are a grown-up and you always have the power to make a choice, okay? So that's number one. Number two, and again, I'm speaking to myself. These are things that I had to say in a one-on-one with myself, okay? So don't feel like I'm trying to tell you something that I wouldn't tell myself. Number two is you need to remember that bitterness is the opposite of being grateful or gratefulness. And I had to check myself really hard on that, because it's very easy for me to slip into this. You know, I want so many different things. I'm always looking ahead. I hit one milestone and I'm like, okay, cool, I made it. Now it's time to get to the next level until I get to where I want to go, until I get to the top of the mountain. And so in the meantime, when situations like this happen, it's very easy for me to be all bitter and all upset and like, I can't believe it. They're, you know, messing up what I got going on. For instance, I was supposed to be hosting a group coaching class that several clients actually paid me for this particular group coaching. But because this work assignment just came out of nowhere, and it's, you know, the hours that we're working and it's taking up my whole day, I kind of had to go with my tail between my legs back to my clients and reschedule this group coaching session. So for me, that's incredibly embarrassing. Like, really? You're paying me to coach you, and then now I have to reschedule because, you know, my boss is telling me I need to do something. My 9 to 5 is yanking my chain. I mean, so embarrassing. I can't even talk about it. But gratefully, everybody was really cool about it, and we're rescheduling it, and you know, it is what it is. Like, people know the situation. Yes, I'm building a business, but I'm choosing to keep my 9 to 5 for now until I can fully transition. And in the meantime, it's gonna, you know, it's kind of gonna be a little weird with the two different things that I have going on, and occasionally, you know, things like that will happen. Hopefully not often, but you know, You know what? It happened. So instead of being bitter about it, I should be grateful that, one, I even had clients to begin with that were even willing to pay me for group coaching. So that's the first thing that I need to be grateful of. And secondly, I need to stop being bitter because I do have that safety net as I build my business. You know, I do have a good job, mind you. And outside of this particular situation, outside of these type of work assignments, normally my job is pretty laid back, allows me a lot of flexibility, and you know, does not interfere with my normal life. So like after 5, like for the most part it's done, unless I'm on a work assignment like this. But when I'm back home and I'm just working in the office, you know, I don't have to take my work home with me. And I know that's not the case for a lot of people. Definitely not the case for my husband. He, you know, brings work home all the time. So the fact that my job is so flexible, they're really good about taking days off and, you know, or working from home or whatever, you know, that does allow me the opportunity and the flexibility to do some of the things that I do on the side. So I have a lot of leeway and freedom to even build up my side business because of this job, you know, even though it kind of crashed my plans this go round. You know, typically this doesn't happen that often. So really, yeah, this stinks. Like, who wants to work for 8 days and counting for 12 hours a day? But this happens just a few times a year. Like, it doesn't happen that often. So I should be grateful about all those things. So whatever you got going on, if you're focusing on the negative part, the negative aspect of your situation, and it's caused you to be bitter, start to think about even just really, really small things to be grateful for. And I say this for 2 reasons. Obviously, it's kind of like a feel-good thing. If you think about things that you are grateful for, then it can lift you up emotionally. But I say it for a practical reason because mentally, again, you cannot see ways to improve or change your situation if you are in a space of being so negative about what you have. So just like in my first point when I said you have to acknowledge that you are making a choice, because acknowledging that you are making a choice is the only way that you can then start to see options to choose something else, to choose something better. It's the same thing with being grateful. If you are grateful for what you have, you're saying, oh my goodness, I have something. And because I have something, then I can take what I have and then use it to something else. It means you are seeing your life fully, and you are recognizing that even in the midst of whatever you have going on, that you have resources, and with those resources you can create a future for yourself. You see that? If you're bitter about what you have and you're ungrateful for the resources that you do have, then you won't use those resources to create the very things you need in your life in order to get to the next level. So, a great example is your financial situation. If you are bitter about the fact that you don't make as much as somebody else, or you feel like you don't have enough money to do what you need to do in order to build that business or to get to the next level or write your book or eat healthy or like buy organic groceries and eat healthy. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, that's too expensive, I don't have enough money. So that's why I use that as an example. But whatever, go back to school, whatever it is that you are trying to do, if you are always in a space of bitterness, then you won't recognize what you have right in front of you. But a person who does not make that much but is extremely grateful for what they have, well, you know what? They'll start to evaluate and look carefully at what they have more than the bitter person, and I bet you that grateful person will be able to come up with creative ideas for ways that they can use what they have. They can use the resources that they have in order to create what they need for a better future. So being grateful instead of being bitter has, yes, an emotional component and a feel-good component and all that, but it has a very practical application too in getting you to the next level. So really, if you are stuck on being bitter about, what you feel that you are entitled to have, because that's really where a lot of bitterness stems from, is, we feel entitled, and that something that we were entitled to was taken away from us. So if you let go of the entitlement, you let go of the bitterness, then really you let go of a lot of blocks in your life, and you make room for a breakthrough. Okay, so that's what I did. I stopped being bitter about my situation and started to be grateful. And in that gratefulness, I started to think of all the cool things that I could be doing. Like, hey, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm working all these crazy hours at work, but I am in a hotel room, which means that I have the space to do videos like this, that I can work on my personal projects when I get back to the hotel room without being interrupted by, you know, my husband or people calling me or whatever because they know that I'm away on a work trip. You know, I'm just here by myself. So that means that no one's gonna bother me and I have the space to really do what I need to do for my future and for my dreams. So do you think I would have been thinking along those lines if I was still committed to being bitter about my situation? Of course not. I would have come back to this hotel room every night all upset, and I never would have even thought about the things that I could be doing with it. But because I'm grateful, I'm deciding that I'm going to be grateful that I'm on this business trip and that I even have this alone time in this hotel room. Now I'm thinking creatively about ways that I can use and leverage this new resource that I have, okay? So that's number 2. Number 1 was, let's look at my notes. What did I say? Oh, you're a grown-up. Acknowledge your choice. Number 2 was remember that bitterness is the opposite of gratefulness, and so it's really important that you remain grateful even for the little bitty small things in your situation. And the last thing is make it easy and have some fun. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we become victims of our situation and we hold ourselves back because we make up all these rules about what we think we need to have in order to move forward. So something very simply, and why I'm choosing to do this vlog, you know, after so many years of being off YouTube, is because I had made it up in my mind that everything that I put on the blog, or, you know, everything that I produced needed to be this very detailed, long, drawn out, step-by-step 2,000-word post thing, and I enjoy creating those, and I know that you guys enjoy reading them because they are so in-depth, but I allowed that to become a rule for myself. Therefore, when I was coming home or coming back to my hotel room on this trip and I was exhausted and I had to get up early in the morning and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I hate this trip. It's keeping me from even doing basic things like writing blog posts. I was not able to see that I could do something really simple, like just create a little short video. Well, this video isn't so short now, but create a video and then turn this video into a podcast because I was making it way harder than it had to be. I was making it so difficult. And so a lot of times I think we do the exact same thing. So maybe you want to write and publish a book, but you are bitter about the fact that you don't have any time and that you don't make a lot of money or whatever, and you just make it way too hard on yourself. You say, oh, I have to find this big name publisher and I need someone to teach me how to write a manuscript, etc., etc., etc. When you could just make it very easy on yourself, make it super fun. You could just say, well, you know what? 30 minutes when I get home, I'm gonna take some time for me. I'm gonna put on, you know, Spotify or Pandora or whatever, put on my favorite music. I'm gonna get me a glass of wine, and this is gonna be my me time. And for 30 minutes, I'm just gonna write some stuff out on just on a legal pad, you know, just in my own handwriting, or I'm just gonna type some stuff out in Microsoft Word, and then I'm gonna be done with it. And you know what? If it takes me 2 years to write the book of just spending 30 minutes a day on it, then that's fine. But at least it's fun, and at least I'm making it easy on myself. So think about the areas in your life where you want to get to the next level, you want to have a breakthrough, etc., but you feel like your situation is holding you back and you've been a victim of your situation up until this point. Think about how you might be making it unnecessarily hard on yourself. Are you telling yourself that there are certain rules that you have to abide by that aren't really true? So ask yourself, is that really true? If you say, oh, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z, ask yourself, is X, Y, and Z a legitimate requirement for you to move forward, or is that just a nice to have? Is it just something that you would like to do or like to have, but it's not really necessary for you to do the things that you want to do? And if it's not really necessary, I'm gonna say, stop making it so daggone hard on yourself and just start doing stuff. And have a little fun with it. Whatever it is that you want to do. You want to get in shape, but you're like, well, I don't have the time to find a workout plan or to find a running buddy, or I don't have the money to hire a trainer or whatever. Make it fun, make it easy. Say in the morning you're gonna put on your favorite music, you're just gonna dance around for 15 minutes. Like, it doesn't have to be that difficult. And again, I'm saying that to myself. Courtney, it doesn't have to be that difficult for you to still be present on the blog, for you to still create content for, you know, your subscribers. So what? You don't have the energy to write a 2,000 word post? Girl, you better just record a little video, turn that into a podcast, and call it a day. So that's what I said to myself. And so whatever it is going on with you, I want you to make it easy and to make it fun for yourself so that you can stop being a victim and start succeeding regardless of your circumstances. So thank you guys for letting me rant and get all of this off my chest in the midst of me being in this sad, lonely hotel room. And just remember to do these 3 things when you are starting to feel like a victim of your circumstance. Number 1, never forget that you are an adult and you make choices. Nothing is happening to you. You happen to things. That's the attitude that you need to have. Stop saying, I have to do this, or they're making me do this. Say, you know what? No, I'm choosing this. And if you can't choose something in good conscience, or the choices that you are making is making you feel bad about yourself, then commit to making different choices, all right? So number 2 is remember that bitterness is the opposite of gratefulness, and choose to be grateful instead so that you can see the things that you have in your life that can be resources and building blocks for the future that you want to create. And then thirdly, make it easy and have some fun, okay? It doesn't take all that, all right? It doesn't take all that. It's not that difficult. Just have some fun with it. Just decide that it's going to be easy. Have some fun with it. And just start making moves, okay? So this was really fun for me. I will definitely do more vlogs / podcasts in the future because I'm committed to making it easy on myself. But in the meantime, I'm gonna, I guess, maybe work out, do some work, and pray that I get to go home tomorrow. And I will see you later. Bye.